Kia ora everyone, welcome to another virtual yoga club session. Today our entire sequence is going to be done on the mat, so we won't be standing at all. We're going to start in our seated position, doing some warm-up stretches before we get into some poses. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to take our right leg out to the side, bring the left one in, bring the arms up, rotate the hips, hands either side of your leg, eyes on the toes, pulling the toes back towards the knee. Keeping that back nice and straight so I'm not hunched forward or rounding my shoulders. Keeping those breaths nice and deep. As you stay longer in the stretch, see if you can walk your hands a little bit further towards your feet. If not, that's okay. Gently coming up. I'm going to take the left leg out to the side now, bring the right one in. Arms up, breathe in, rotate the hips, hands either side of your leg. It's totally normal if this side feels harder than the other, or if it even feels easier. We're not always completely balanced. But it's kind of cool about yoga is that you start to understand your body a bit more. You notice things that you might not have noticed otherwise. Think about sinking into the stretch a little bit more every time you exhale. Nice straight back, eyes on the toes. Slowly coming back up. We're going to keep that leg there and take the other one out again. So we're in our straddle. Bring the arms up, breathe in, and coming forward, just placing them in front of you wherever is comfortable. So remember, we don't want to be hunching forward and rolling the shoulders. We want to keep that back nice and straight, shoulders down, hands in front. Doesn't have to be a huge forward stretch. No doubt you'll be able to tell that even the slightest reach forward is going to really enhance the stretch in the inner thigh. Don't forget to keep those toes coming back in towards the knees. My eyes are looking just in front of my hands. As you sink into the stretch a little bit more, you can walk your hands out a little bit further, give that a go. If you can't, that's totally fine. I'm slowly going to come back up, bring our legs in again, and we're going to head into a neck stretch. So I'm going to take my left hand, fingertips are going to be touching the ground, my right hand is going to reach across to the left side of my head and just apply a tiny amount of pressure to elongate that left side of your body and stretch the neck. We'll be really careful and really gentle with the neck when we're stretching it. Gently release that side, bring the right hand down, fingertips to the mat, take that left hand, reach it up across onto the right side of the head, gently applying pressure. Remember, if I let go, I shouldn't ping out of that stretch because I'm not forcing the neck to do anything. And release. Good. Do a couple of shoulder rolls here. We're going to head into our seated twist. So we're going to bring our arms up. Big breath in. My right hand is going to the outside of my left knee. Left hand is going behind my back. I'm looking over my left shoulder. Bring the arms back to center. On the exhale, take the left hand to the outside of the right knee, reaching back and looking over the right shoulder. And release that twist, gently coming back to center. It's noisy in my neighborhood today. Okay, last seated stretch. We're going to bring our fingers together in front, link them together. You can either put them inside out or you can keep them knuckles forward. We're going to push our hands away from our body. So our shoulder blades are coming apart, the back's rounding a little bit. From here we're going to lift them up. Release the fingers, reach your hands down behind your back, clasp them again, push them down to the ground. So this time our shoulder blades are squeezing together. Release the hands, bring them back in front, and we're just going to reach forward and place them on the ground in front of us. Okay, slowly coming up. So we should be feeling a little bit more warmed up now. We're going to head into our cobra pose. We're going to flow between cobra and hare pose a few times. So we'll start with cobra, and then instead of just staying face down on the mat, to counteract that stretch, we'll head back into our hare pose. If you would prefer to do child's pose, that's totally up to you. I will be doing hare pose. So today we're going to come down onto our mats, hands under shoulders, lift the head up, elongate the neck, use the glutes and the core to lift up, then engage the hands. Slight bend in the elbows so we're not locking out. Shoulders down away from our ears. Okay, we're going to push back. Knees to the outside of your mat and sink back into that hare pose. Coming up again, those knees back together, come down into that starting position for Cobra. Hands under shoulders, elbows tucked in. Okay, bringing the hips up, knees out to the side of your mat, sink down into hare pose. Or child's pose if you prefer. Slowly coming up. We're going to go straight into our cat and cow pose. So starting in that tabletop position. Wrists under elbows, under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to roll our shoulders back, bring the belly button down to the mat, eyes forward. Roll the shoulders forward, spine to the ceiling, eyes down to the mat. Breathing in as you look forward, breathing out as you look down. I want you to move through these poses in time with your own natural breathing rhythm. Breathing in as you roll the shoulders back and look forward. Breathing out as you roll the shoulders forward and press your spine to the ceiling. Your tailbone should instigate the movement each time. One more cat, one more cat. And sitting back. Okay, if your wrists are feeling a little bit tender after that, what we're going to do is just place them, the back of our hands on the mat, gently apply some pressure to just stretch out the back of our hands and our wrists. Alternatively, you can also do some gentle wrist rolls. If you need to come out of a pose at any point because you feel like it is putting some pressure or some strain on your wrist, that's totally fine. Alright, let's head into our dolphin pose. So, dolphin is slightly similar to downward dog, however we're going to have our forearms resting on the ground and our arms out nice and straight in front of us. Train track arms nice and straight, tuck the toes under, push the hips up and back, eyes back towards your toes. And dropping the knees down. You can either come into a hare pose here, or you can sit back onto your heels, stretch out the quads. Okay, this time we're going to do dolphin with our hands in a different position. So instead of train track arms, we're going to bring our hands together and clasp them like if we were doing a low plank. So we're making more of a triangular base for our upper body, tucking the toes under, pushing the hips up and back. And dropping the knees down, slowly coming back up to that seated position. Okay. Good. We're going to head into our upper body stretch for thread the needle, so we're reaching our arms through. For this one, I want you to really think about pulling those shoulder blades apart, opening up that space in the upper back. So we're going to start in that tabletop position again. Take our left arm, reach it through, shoulder and head resting on the mat. Use that right hand to push against the mat. And coming back up, swapping over to the other side. Right arm reaching through, head and shoulder on the mat. That left arm is pushing against the ground, opening up that space. And coming back up. Sitting back on those heels. We're going to move into our extended puppy pose now. This is where we have our toes tucked under at the back, so it's also stretching out our feet, which can be quite nice. Reaching those arms forward. Remember, head and upper arms and torso stay off the ground. Everything is engaged. We are sinking towards the mat, but we're not resting on the ground. And coming back up. Relax the feet. Sitting back. Stretch the quads out. Lean back a little bit if you want to. We'll just enhance that quad stretch while we rest before going into our extended puppy one more time. Okay, when you're ready, coming back into that tabletop position. Tuck the toes under. We're going to push our hips back towards our heels as much as we can. Walk those hands out and sink down. And coming up and sitting back. Okay, we're going to head into our downward dog today, and we're going to introduce an extension. So this is our hip opener. I'll try and talk you through it as best I can whilst also doing it. Excuse me if there's a lot of heavy breathing. So we're going to start in our normal downward dog position, starting in that tabletop. Tuck the toes under, hips up and back. We're just going to chill out in our normal downward dog for a bit. Remember, we're thinking about getting those heels down to the mat. If they can't reach the mat yet, that's okay. Should feel a nice stretch in the back of your legs. From here, I'm going to take my right leg, bring it up. My gaze has already shifted to in between my hands. My right leg is going to come up, then I'm going to bend it across and try and open that hip. We're not going to hold these hip openers for very long because we're going to do both sides at the same time or in the same flow. Reaching the left leg up, open it up to the side. Bring the foot down, drop the knees, head into hare or child's pose if you want to. Let's try it again. Hips up and down. I'm going to start with the right leg, so I've shifted my gaze. Right leg comes up, open to the left side. And bring it back down, this time the left side. Up and across. And bring it back down. The reason I'm not worried about you guys holding that for very long is it can put a lot of pressure on your hands and on your wrists, and it's quite a hard one to do. So even if you're just holding it for a little bit at a time, that's fine. You will build up the strength and get better at it over time. We're going to head into some bridges now. So take the feet flat on the mat, arms down by your sides. Now what I want you to do is walk your feet as close to your glutes or your butt as you can. So I'm picking it up, walking my feet back, and we're going to hold this position. So your hands should be able to almost reach and touch your heels. When you think you have gone as far as you can, I guarantee you, if you push a little bit further, you'll be able to get those glutes up a little bit more. Deep breaths. And we're going to lower down. Today we're going to counteract this with some happy baby. Gently rocking from side to side, massaging that lower back. Drop the feet. Same again, arms down by your side. Roll your shoulders back as well. Lift the glutes up. Walk the feet back. And push up into that bridge pose. Remember to try pushing a little bit further. Drop the hips down, reach for the feet, and counteract that stretch. And drop the feet. We're going to stay in this position. We're going to do some stretches here. We're going to take our arms out to shoulder height. Bring our knees up. And we're going to drop them to the right side first, looking over your left side. So you should feel a bit of a stretch in the chest as well. I'm going to bring our knees back to centre. Now I'm going to rotate because I've got no room on my other side, but you don't need to. You just need to drop your knees to the left side now. Well, actually I do have space. Looking over your right shoulder now. Feel that stretch in the right side of your chest as well. Bring your knees back to centre. From here you're going to take your hands, rest them on your knees, and we're just going to gently lift our tailbone up and off the mat. Just a little bit. It's a little bit like a happy baby, but instead of side to side we're rocking just gently, just a little bit back and forth. Okay, the last thing we're going to do today is grab our straps. So hopefully, there's mine. You have something you can use. It can be anything like a belt or your dressing gown tie or a towel. Anything that's not going to stretch that you can stretch against. So we're going to take it, first of all, we're going to put it around the ball of our right foot, holding onto the ends. I wrap it around my hands a couple of times, so that it's not too long. Since my right leg is in the air, my left leg is going to go straight flat on the mat. I'm pulling my elbows into my body, stretching the back of my right leg. To make sure you're not locking out the joint, put a little bit of a bend in your knee. You'll still get the stretch because you can still pull on the straps. Keep breathing, nice deep breaths. Remember, every time you exhale, try and sink a little bit further into the stretch. Okay, since my right leg is in the air, I'm going to take both ends of the straps in my left hand, so my opposite hand, and I'm going to gently pull that leg across my body. My hips are staying flat on the mat, so I'm not rolling over. It's a very small movement, but if you keep your hips down, you will feel that stretch on the outside of your glutes. And we keep that bend in the knee so you're not putting pressure on the joint. From here we're going to take the straps into that same hand. So right leg is in the air, so the straps are in my right hand, and we're going to let that leg come out to the side. I'm going to open that stretch up. Now my leg isn't resting on the ground. If your leg can fall all the way onto the ground but your hips are on the ground as well, so you're not rolling over, remember, then that's okay. But it's pretty likely that you will have a little bit of space between your leg and the ground if you're keeping your hips flat to the mat. You should feel this stretch on the inner thigh. We're going to release this by just gently releasing our grip on the strap, letting the legs swing out, and we're going to swap sides. I'm going to turn around on my mat because I don't have space on the left side of my body, but you don't have to. Okay, taking the strap, around the ball of our left foot. Loop the ends around my hands a couple of times, bring the elbows in. Slight bend in the knee. My right leg is flat on the ground. Okay, since my left leg is in the air, I'm going to take the ends of the straps in my right hand, so my opposite hand, and pull that leg across my body, keeping my hips flat on the mat. I'm not rolling onto my side, I'm still lying flat on my back. You should feel the stretch right in here. Remember, keep that knee bent a little bit. We want to stretch the muscles, not the joints. Okay, taking the straps in my left hand now, so the same side, open that stretch up to the side. Remember, hips are still flat on the mat. You should feel this on the inner thigh. To release that stretch, I'm just going to loosen my grip, swing out of the stretch, and you should feel a lot looser in the legs now. Slowly, when you're ready, coming up to a seated position. Oh, quite far down the mat, aren't I? Alright team, that was our mat sequence today. I hope you enjoyed it. We will have a standing sequence as well coming soon. If you have anything specific that you'd like to work on, don't be afraid to send me a message, and I can incorporate your requests into future plans. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.